Hi, this is Steve Fortner of Keyboard Magazine, and I'm here with one of the greatest legends of the Hammond organ and of R&B and soul music of all time, Mr. Booker T. Jones, who has been gracious enough to invite us into his home today. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you, Stephen. Yeah.
You have a new solo record out, the first in how many years?
Probably 20 years. This is 09. Yeah, long time. Yeah, I don't know how many years.
And it's on Anti Records, and it's called Potato Bowl. And tell us, I can tell people, I'd like you to tell people, what's unique about this album?
One thing is I started all the songs on guitar. I started playing guitar. And I'm writing, I have a little bit of a different writing technique on this album in that I did a lot of visualizing when I was writing, as opposed to just sitting down and starting to play my idea. I was holding a visual in mind for each one of the songs, and I was writing to that visual, trying to put music to what I was saying.
So, for example, the visual on the lead track, Pound It Up?
Yeah.
What was the visual for that one? How did that translate into that really powerful guitar content?
Yeah, it's almost an analogy because, you know, when you're writing, how very often you can have what seems like a pretty good idea, and then maybe after 15 or 20 minutes, you're not so sure if it's a good idea, so, you know, you have to commit to it or not commit to it, you know, and you're sitting usually alone. And so then it almost becomes a matter of having faith in whether you believe in the idea or not. So writers have to pound it out. They have to get to that point where it's dark and they can't see where they're going, and if they believe in it, they continue to either sit there or either play the lick until the lick really means something to them. And that's what happened to me with Pound It Out. And I ended up naming it Pound It Out, because that was the process I had to go through. It was so simple, the lick was. It was only 3 notes. And, you know, I was doubting it for a long time, whether it was something I really, you know, believed in, but the groove just kept coming back to me. And so I had to just convince myself, well, that's it. It's just that simple. It's just these 3 notes. You know, and once I finally committed to it, then I finally, you know, got the groove. But it was very dark, so to speak, for a while on that tune.
And it started with organ or with guitar?
With guitar. Well, I composed all these on guitar, whereas in the past, years past, I used to always pretty much start with the Hammond or another keyboard. Like for Born Under a Bad Sign, you know, I started with the piano, you know, with the left hand. So it's a different approach for me.
Were any of the songs on the album that you started on guitar, did it become evident at one point for particular one of them that, wow, this would sound a lot better on organ or Rhodes or the keyboard?
No, they all stayed guitar songs. But the lead, the melody was always Hammond. The lead, in my mind, you know, when I got to the melody, it was always a Hammond. But a lot of times it was a vocal melody that I was playing to. A lyric melody, I'll put it that way.
Because I was sort of thinking of the, I think it's She Breaks, which begins with organ bass.
Yeah, that was a lyric in my mind. Or the lyric, She Breaks. Once again, it was very simple. But that was an emotional song for me. I was trying to write an emotion there. You know, about a woman who is strong, you know, a young woman who is always reliable, but who has a heart and a fragile system that is usually always together, but it could be at the sight of, you know, a beautiful flower or a beautiful child or something ugly, but at some point, you know, the song says, remember, she breaks. It's a fragile thing. So that's what that was.
Wow. Would you play us a little bit of that?
Oh, that? Yeah, yeah, that's just real simple.
Just a 1/4
Yeah, that's pretty simple, huh?
bubbling bass line.
Yeah.
How did Neil Young come to be involved on the record?
I was influenced by Neil. The sounds that he got out of his Les Paul, his black Les Paul, and his Tweed when we were working together in '93 pretty much affected me because it becomes emotional. You know, he was playing it, the lower strings in such a way, the Les Paul is not always in tune, so the overtones move and affect one another in the room, or I'm not sure, but it created a beautiful big sound, and it was in your face. It was a little too loud, almost political. It's rock and roll. It's in your face. It's not a groove. Well, it's a groove, but the groove is not the thing. The thing is the sound. So that, and Neil does that. That's great. So I was trying to get his sound when I was writing, especially a song like Native New Yorker. I really was going for Neil's sound on that.
You can sort of bring a wall of sound out of a guitar like nobody can.
And yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Another thing that really grabbed me about the album was the cover of Outkast, Hey Ya.
Yeah.
And on the Outkast record, what's carrying that song is that it's really aggressive, steady drum beat all the way through.
Yeah.
And notice that what carries it initially on your cover is the guitar is duplicating that rhythm. And I'm wondering how you went about, what the process was like from first hearing that, deciding you wanted to do it, and then adapting it for your instrumentation.
Yeah, the big deal on that was, it was not, we knew we wanted to do Outkast because everybody was loving their attitude and the fact that they're out of the box, But for me, it was the bars and the 2/4 bar. I just love the 2/4 bar. And
it goes to 2/4 times
signature.
Yeah.
So it's like the 2/4 just spits in there, but you don't even know it's in there. It sounds so right and so natural, to me, that it sounds like it's just all in a normal time signature.
Yeah, it's not like, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, a band like Steely Dan, where there might be a tune where they go to an odd time signature for a measure or two, or yes, progressive rock band do that.
And you know it's...
And you know it's happening.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk maybe a little bit about how a couple of classics came together, as long as we're talking about collaborative songwriting. Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone with Bill Withers.
Bill is a special artist and person. It's hard to tell people about Bill because he's so unassuming and so intelligent. And so it was 1971, and I was at my ranch, and he came and sang maybe 15, 16 songs for me. And of course, I decided, you know, we have to go record this music, you know. So I got everything together and went to the studio, and the band was sitting there, we were getting ready to start recording the first song, and Bill comes into this control room and says, "Booker, who's going to sing these songs?" And I was, of course, shocked that he was there. I said, "Well, you are, Bill. You're going to sing the songs." And so that's who he sort of is, or was. And so then we needed to recreate the real thing for him, you know. It couldn't be anything pretentious at all. That he's not a pretentious person. So it had to be sparse, and it had to be just mostly him. So it's just piano and some strings and maybe a little drums and bass and his guitar.
See, a lot of bands play it with him, but on the original version, it's strings that are doing that pad part.
Yeah. I actually wrote that. That was when I had score paper, and I wrote that part, you know. I'm so into like a program like Sibelius now, it's something for me to remember score paper.
Sibelius?
Yeah, Sibelius, not that. But yeah, Bill was just, you know, a pleasure to work with from start to finish. Grandma's Hands, you know, we actually had him stomping his foot on a real box, you know, like a real crate.
Oh, yeah.
And Ain't No Sunshine just was the signature song for that record. It said who he is. The name of the record was Just As I Am, and you know, he's a real unpretentious person there.
Tell me about the Bar Cage, because I know you were...
The what?
The Bar Cage?
The Bar Case?
Yeah, because I believe you played harmonica on the song Knucklehead off
Wow,
the
I'm surprised
Soulfinger record.
I can't believe you're asking me that. Wow. Yeah.
One thing I did get right.
Wow, yeah, the Bar-Kays. The Bar-Kays was sort of like the little MGs at Stax. I don't want to say that.
Did they start off as like the Stax house band?
Yeah,
Was that-
yeah. Carl Cunningham was, you know, the little kid right up under Al Jackson, and Jimmy was right up under Steve Cropper, and yeah, that was the group I was working with, and they were a fine group of kids. But yeah, they had recorded something and needed a B-side, and I grabbed the harmonica and started playing Knucklehead was the name of that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's a good memory you got there. That was a long time ago.
Soulfinger is one of my favorite records. Actually, it's something that I really identify with the Memphis R&B sound.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely would have carried that tradition on had they got the chance.
Yeah, that was the tragedy, of course.
Yeah.
They did some stuff later, though. I mean, a reformation.
That was a different group of people, though.
Yeah.
The only one that there were only two originals. That was James and Ben. James, I think, didn't ever get on the plane, and Ben survived the crash. So a lot of the essence of the Bar-Kays, kind of like the MGs, had to do with Cunningham, Carl Cunningham, the drummer, and Jimmy, the guitarist, and the horns.
Yeah.
So a lot of the essence of that band was lost there in that crash, you know. But yeah, not that Ben's not great and James wasn't good, but together they were greater than the song was greater than the whole was greater than the song, or however you say it.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was the sort of the Holy Ghost era stuff, which was maybe beginning to tip a little more of a hat to what would turn into disco.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still way funky. And
that's true.
groovy
The
stuff.
new Bar-Kays was a great band, though.
Yeah.
But they took a little more of a George Clinton funkadelic type of funk type thing, you know, than the original Bar-Kays. The original Bar-Kays were more like the MGs. Green Onions is basically the first 4 drawbars here. And with a little bit, can you see the percussion over here?
Yes.
There's a little bit of percussion on soft. Let's see, with the second harmonic. down here on the lower keyboard. Let's go. So yeah, it's just the funky little riff there.
Yeah, I heard you comment once that, no, it was actually, I think, Paul Schaefer, I heard comment that Green Onions is like a little puzzle that a lot of people play wrong when they play it. And so do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah,
about how do you play it right?
I know what he's talking about. I've seen people go. Yeah, it is, and you know, it's fifths in the left hand. You know, that's the left hand, and the right hand is fifths also. That's what it is. So it's the that's a normal triad, and this is the first inversion. So with the fifth, the F in the bottom, the fifth in the bass.
Mm-hmm.
And then and the 5 chord is that's pretty
Really straightforward. Yeah.
straightforward. Same with the 4 chord, and then and that's it. So it's just a straight triad here on the A flat. It's pretty simple, but I've heard it a lot. You know, I don't know.
Might have been how I played it when I first tried to learn it.
Yeah,
As a kid in the
that's
garage.
kind of what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hip Hugger is up here. It's same thing. First four drawbars. That's the rip. So it's this. Sometimes I play the E flat up here. And the melody, I've changed the sound a little bit. These first drawbar and then the fourth, I pull all of them all the way out. And
Oh, so you've got even multiples there. You've got all octaves.
yeah, so I play. Once again, I have a little bit of percussion up here on the soft and slow decay and the second harmonic. I'll do it again. And then the 4 chord. I think I use different fingerings. I'm not sure if I use the same fingering every time.
What's that chord right there? That very last one.
It's an E flat 9. I'm not playing the 5th. I'm playing 3 notes of the 9 chord. Just like.
I remember in on the 45 that I had of that, while you're doing that walk down, the guitar is duplicating, going meow, 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 and
Right,
he's
yeah.
sliding a lot of notes on that.
Yeah,
And also
he bends that one, yeah.
a little, and I was trying to hear the organ behind it. when
Yeah,
it was,
it's a
originally.
man, but it's a kind of high.
Yeah.
There was a little
Yeah.
slide there. Now, you know, I took lessons from Mrs. Cole. My teacher was named Mrs. Elmertha Cole. And she was teaching us how to what she called crawl. And you hold a note. And you go, like maybe here and underneath, you know.
So crawling would be the whole idea of kind of like voice leading, but not necessarily with the held note on the top.
So she would make us do exercises so we could bring the thumb under. So that's kind of how I got my technique from her with the organ, because you could do none of that on the piano. You could do it, but your original note would begin to fade out,
Yeah.
you know, on the piano. So
And-
that's what makes this so unique.
And this sounds sort of like what you were learning with your teacher was gospel church music.
Well, yeah. Well, what I was playing was, you know. I think in a song like Hip Hopper, that the fact that I practiced that way so much, you know. Oh yeah. Let's see, what else? Maybe Hang 'em High is one. That one I use a softer chord down here. Let's see. Yeah, that's got a lot of crawling in it. So I switched fingers there. Start the note with the thumb and then ended up holding it with the third finger. I did it there again too. I never thought about this. Oh, I did it there again. There we go. Yeah, it's all over the place. That with that, what did you call it? The
Voice leading.
voice leading. Yeah. So I was on this D flat chord here, and I have this manual playing, but I want to switch both the sound and play the low note at the same time. This is what I got from George Shearing. This playing
It's a nice
the
full
melody.
chord.
Yeah, that was what I was hearing and from his music. I'm sure there were other people that did it, but he was my the strongest influence there for keeping the melody on the top and the bottom at the same time.
So how is it, different people discover music in different ways and people gravitate towards different instruments. How did it come to be the Hammond for you?
Good question, because I played trombone and I sang, and I played trombone for a long time. I played flute, played alto, tenor. I loved tenor. Green Onions really was strong. I played on William Bell, You Don't Miss Your Water Till Your Well Runs Dry, and that was really a strong day for me, getting the whole tremolo sound and playing on that. And it was also my first time I ever paid really good in a recording studio. But that was the kind of like little lick I was playing on it. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, because it certainly wasn't a convenient back then to get. I couldn't even find them. So the Stax just happened to have that little M3. It certainly was a challenge. Getting them up and down the steps, the clubs. Destiny, I guess. I don't know.
What was the first time you heard a Hammond?
Going to Mrs. Cole's house for a piano lesson. And,
Okay. Yeah,
and knowing that I had to have the lessons were $35, and I had the money at that time. I saved up the money, and I was able to get a piano lesson instead of just a piano lesson. That's the first time I heard it. She played something on it, in her way of playing. My mom played keyboards. My mom played piano, and she had a soul. She had a feeling and a touch. Mrs. Cole crawled on the organ. My mom, I don't think ever touched an organ. Her whole thing was being able. She said, "Be ready. Always be ready. Never straighten your fingers out. Always be curled so you're ready if you need to. That way you can just follow the muse if whatever note is in your mind. So you can curl over or under." So she was saying, always be ready to curl over or under. Distinguish the organ from the piano or other keyboards.
Right.
And
Teach you this.
the way the speaker sounded.
Oh.
I think she had a 122 or 147
Which one's this, by the way?
This is 770.
Oh, so it's a higher powered bus. It's a newer one or a?
I got it in the 80s, but it was made in 74. That's what, yeah.
Oh, okay. How about this B3? What,
Same thing. Got
Got-
out of somebody's
together.
garage in Clover Park.
really, but this was a garage organ?
Yeah, out of the newspaper in Clover Park, right? Yeah, I was living back there. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been sitting, it needs to be played.
You have someone come in and maintain this, like oil the generator and,
A while ago, yeah.
The contacts.
Nobody's touched it for about almost 2 years, so, yeah.
cleaning the key contacts on this is rough. You can,
Yeah.
you can, someone who doesn't know what they're doing can mess it up.
Yeah.
But it's actually
Oh,
beautiful.
really? Someone who doesn't know what they're doing can mess
The
it
key
up?
contacts?
Yeah.
Yeah, because under the keys, on a B3, you've got 9 what they call bus bars, and they're like these little wires that run underneath the length of the keyboard. And so you've got one wire running this way for each key. And
Okay.
so you pull the drawbar out and it sends some current to that wire, and then when you push the key down, it closes the circuit. Because like the tone generator is always running. So when you hit a key, it's a gate. Gates the signal on and off. And the wires underneath are fragile. So someone who's too rough with it can end up messing up
I've never seen
the
that.
contact. Yeah, it was, I mean, one of the unique things about the B3 is that it's got live AC current running through those wires. I don't know if it's 120 volts, but you remember the stories about Keith Emerson in ELP jabbing knives between the keys and doing these theatrics on stage, and sometimes he'd get a shock because of hitting the bus bars that had live current in it.
Wow.
Not that you should
Yeah.
jab knives, but it was rock and roll.
I used to take a matchbook back then and stick it in between the keys to hold the note.
To hold it up there,
Yeah.
it's like a sustain pedal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and one of the big deals about the new B3, which you've taken on tour, is that they duplicated that key contact system. So even though the tone generator, it's not spinning discs anymore, it's digital, but they duplicated the key contact system so that you get the same feel and the same kind of here we're on full registration, right? If you press a key down really slow,
Can you hear it?
the harmonics cut it separately, and that's because of those separate key contacts. When you hit it fast, you don't realize it. But even in normal playing, all of those separate contacts, it creates this little bit of slop. That's it's subliminal almost if you're playing, but if it's not there, like on a sampled organ, you begin to.
That's what I noticed about the new B3. That's why I like it. It's the first one I've liked ever of the ones that they've been trying all these years. The other thing is the dimensions are the same.
Right. So if you've got muscle memory,
Yeah.
you're not cramped in, you're
Right.
not reaching over here when your percussion's over here.
Yeah.
And again, they duplicated that so that when you push down a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and if you were to get your new B3 out of the trailer and do the same thing, you'd hear the same effect.
That's great to know. I never knew exactly what it was that made me think that, okay, it's correct now, with the new B3, because they had a version of the organ, they had XK this and, I don't
Yeah, they've got
know.
the XK3, they have a new XK3C now.
That's a good one, right?
It's great, and I've got that and the lower manual that goes under it, and they're modular and they fit together, which is great because you can take it apart and one person can move it if you're touring with a cover band and playing Indian casinos or whatever. But
Can you split the keyboard on
you can. Obviously, if you have the lower manual, you don't need to.
Yeah, right.
But now the lower manual does velocity, So you could say use it as a MIDI controller, play piano from an external module on it, play organ on the top, and not, not have to get up from the organ. Because if you're a guy who picks pedals and you're solidly on that organ bench, turning around to another keyboard rig over here for your piano or your synth is not. It's not that easy.
Yeah, I know. You lose the audience. When I do that, I usually like to have just one key on one hand on the piano and the other on the organ.
What's your live rig setup like? Is it just the organ?
It's changing. Now it's just going to become just the organ. I used to carry, the Korg. I used to like the little Korg synthesizer. And I tried different keyboards. But I was playing keyboards on stage with the MGs. I was playing piano sounds with the MGs and kind of moving away from that, now I have my band coming up now, and I'm just feeling like pure Hammond with the new band.
This is the Booker T. Jones band.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just pure straight ahead Hammond. Yeah, and that's all I have on the rider right now. I took all the other stuff off the rider. I'm just feeling it. It's just the loud rock sound, the loud, the buzz sound, that's in-your-face Hammond.
Oh yeah, and that originated because of people overdriving Leslie's to make them go loud.
Yeah.
It was one of those unintentional things that became intentional.
Yeah, I'm loving that right now. Rock and roll.
Yeah. And this is
That's pounded up.
Pounded Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a really special Rhodes.
Oh, this is a cool thing, man.
This is a Dyno My Piano Rhodes, which is a custom job that Chuck Lonnie used to do.
Yep.
And you want to tell us about this Rhodes a little bit? How you got it? Oh, listen to that.
There was they were having a keyboard convention in Studio City at a hotel, big hotel, and I walked in and somebody was playing this piano. 1981, 82, 80, somewhere. I heard it from the hallway. Chuck Monty was having a demonstration. I gotta have that. And I took this one. This was, I think, the one that they were demoing, and I had them. But yeah. The action is unbelievable. You should play it.
Oh, let me try it out. Customized. Well, it's got plexiglass, so you can see inside it. Here. Or you could. It's got this half and half cover, so you could take this part off, play it, and set another keyboard on the flat top. There's a chorus built in, which we're hearing right now.
Yeah. makes you play different when you play this little thing. You should try it.
I just saw the beautiful dyno roads, and Booker's showing us around his home studio where all of the demos for the new album Potato Hole were written.
Well, up there, I have my guitars up there, and I've got I have my Fender Strat up there on top, and that's mainly what I was using. But I have some Ibanez guitars, and I have some Martin acoustics up there, and I have 2-3 basses over there on the right.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a perfect little place to keep them too.
Yeah, it is a small spot in here. It's tight. Yeah, I've got. The reason I started using Ableton instead of Pro Tools is because I was able to compare the same section with Ableton, and you couldn't do that really, basically, in Pro Tools. In Pro Tools, you'd have to either copy and paste onto a different song. In the same song in Ableton, you could like do a first verse, do another first verse, do a third first verse, and then do a fourth verse, and then see how they sound together with just, in the session view you could do that.
Right.
But
right, you can treat them as different clips in the session view.
Right. And Pro Tools at that time didn't have anything that was like the session view, so I couldn't really compare my ideas the same way in Pro Tools as I could with Ableton. I'm in between albums.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm like, in the process of like backing up stuff, and I don't know what my configuration is going to be for the next album. So I'm just like shutting everything down from the first album.
But you recorded your guitars when you were doing demos for this record into Ableton?
Into this little Fireface 400 over there.
Oh, okay. Laramie. You like the sound quality of that?
I like the Fireface. I like the Fireface with the Klein and Hummels.
With Klein and Hummel monitors.
Yeah.
Sounds like an early demo of New Yorker. New record. I notice we've got some effects chains here to set up for vocals along the bottom. Looks like I'm doing different takes of different verses.
I don't have that on here because this is like, seems like it's just the remainder of. You know what I did? I think I moved everything from down here up to the top.
Oh, I see. But you use those different slots for the different takes.
Right. So this looks like ones that I have like erased a bunch of them and starting over again.
Mm-hmm.
But normally I'd have all these filled up with different ideas.
Down there.
All down to there. And I would play maybe like this one with this one. I could mix them up on the different scenes.
So you were sort of using it for comping, for assembling a song out of different bits. Mm-hmm. That's a different way to use live, because I think a lot of people see those clip slots in session view, and they think, this is something that a DJ is going to use to trigger different, electronic, dance-oriented clips in a nightclub, and you were using them as sort of virtual tracks for takes.
Exactly, yeah. And then the other view is like this, so that's kind of like Pro Tools there.
Yeah, it's your arrange view.
But you can't do that with this view, like you can with this view. Like you could. This particular one, I don't have them in, but normally I would have filled all these up with ideas.
Right.
And I could try them one with another without losing anything.
Right. Well, we can see up close the slots, and the ones that are up top are the ones you decided to keep.
Yeah, they look like the end result. So we'll see. I have like Native New Yorker .11. So there's probably a .10 that has a bunch of stuff here.
Yeah, that is a different way to use it. That I think it's good to hear you saying this, because a lot of people, I think, don't realize you can use the session view clips for exactly what you're talking about, for takes.
And it looks like down here, like I have some MIDI tracks mixed in with some audio tracks. Yeah, that's what happens, yeah. See, I took the audio from this MIDI track and put it right next to it there.
Now, where were your drums on this coming from? Where that was
I
coming
put the
from?
battery there, right there.
Oh. When you're doing demos, do you program in drums off the keyboard? Do you play them in, or do you?
Yeah, I use this thing. Yeah, I was going to use that trigger finger when I started,
Is
but
there
I ended
under
up
the,
just doing it here.
So, do a bunch of original backing tracks come off any of the synths here, off the Triton or the Motif?
I don't know if I used. I think I used Native Instruments stuff from inside the computer.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I used Native Instruments stuff because, see, I got this is on USB, so this is all external stuff. So in order to use this stuff, I would have had to use MIDI through. So I was obviously using something inside the computer. So it was they were virtual instruments, because this is all my external stuff here. Is, you know, so this would have
So
to
that's your MIDI
be pushed
interface.
in for. So I obviously was not using this stuff here.
What do you like about the Native Instruments stuff?
Well, I was using the B4 because, you know, you can manipulate the drawbars just like a real one. And I think I was using the drums too from that, and the bass. I think I used a lot of Native Instruments.
Yeah, so you got Reason in there too.
Yeah, there's a B4 there. And, oh, I was using this too. I was using the guitar rig. I was using that.
Or you putting guitars through Guitar Rig for amp
Yeah, I'm
sounds?
pretty sure I did,
That's
yeah.
cool.
I'm pretty sure I used that, and I used the V4. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff on here. Battery 3, Pete, Reason. But
Yeah.
here's something I really love over here
Oh, okay. Oh, there's another keyboard over
that
there.
you haven't seen.
It's a Karma.
It's old, yeah. I really love the action on this thing, and it's portable and it's small, and I like the sounds. I like Korg synthesizers.
They've got cool sounds, and the Karma, the whole thing about that is that it has these algorithms that generate MIDI phrases, and they change in real time, and,
Yeah.
and it kind of improvises for you.
I really like it. I really like using these little keys too.
Oh, the little chord triggers.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something about working with a little keyboard or a limited set of tools.
Mm-hmm.
Not limited, maybe a compact set of tools is a little more intimate.
Yeah, I feel that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, one thing I hear people saying is they do a lot of songwriting on their laptop with a MIDI controller, because their face is down in it and they feel
Yeah.
close to what they're doing.
Mhm.
Whereas if, you know, some people have a desk like this in a studio, or even bigger, with racks full of gear and huge monitors, and it's cool to have, but it's almost a little overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So right now I'm just, you know, breaking it all down. I've got all my drives hooked up, and I'm going to make safety copies of everything, even though the album's already made.
yeah, you still want to.
I want to, you know, make safety copies and then move on from that. You know, I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but that's kind of what's going on. When I get back in my studio, that's what I want to finish doing and start up again.